Gotta get when the getting's on, so I guess we'll see.
Yo. You're now tuned into the Skillet Boyz Podcast. I'm your co-host, Tyrell.
This is Cipriano.
And we got NINExMELLOW. We got...
Hey, I'm Andy.
I'm Riley.
Let's talk about, the music and stuff, man. Where did you guys get this passion to be, in the music,
So, I've been making music forever, even around when you and I met. That was when I think I bought a laptop and I got Logic Pro 9, I think. Yeah. I just started making like music, I started out playing drums when I was really young. Then I played guitar in high school. Okay. And then it kind of just turned into whatever anyone needed for their band. And so then I got all these different influences of like, okay, I know how a bass player is supposed to think. I know how a guitar player is supposed to think. And I know how a drummer is supposed to think. And then being able to just put the pieces together for a song that I just thought of, right, was really just what... It was like, it's like putting a puzzle together, right? But you're making your own pieces,
right?
If that makes sense. And I was just like in love with it at first, and I did it like day and night and like everything. And I was making beats for Kaipo, shout out Kaipo, right? That was really fun. And then I went to college and stopped for a long time, but then I had that itch the entire time, when it's like there's something that you feel like you have to do, right? Yeah. You can ignore it for as long as you want, but eventually it's just going to come around and you'll have to do it, And so that was this for me. And Riley caught me at a time right when I was really just kind of spearheading back into it after like a couple year hiatus. And, we just started making music. And at first I made a couple tunes with Jackson and, they're probably floating around on SoundCloud somewhere.
Right. I remember that time. Like you would making beats and stuff like that. And what I always thought was cool is you used live instruments, what I'm saying? And that to me was very different to see. And I know like you played a lot of different instruments, and to see you kind of go the path and went to UW and got a degree, right? Auto engineer. And doing that, do you have to like know like every instrument, like know how to play every instrument and stuff like that?
I think honestly, if you know how to play a keyboard, you can do everything. Okay. Because in like in the like producer or like beat maker world, like keyboard is the dominant.
Holy smokes! Yeah, this
racetrack over here.
Live from the raceway.
But like no, if you know how to like work around like a keyboard, like you can do it all, because like everything is like so biased towards like using a keyboard and like resampling and programming everything with like different types of instruments and things like that, and like drum machines and everything. It all goes through a keyboard, or even one of those like beat pads, like an MPC or something like that, which I never got into. I probably should have, but I just was too obsessed with guitar. Yeah. And also too, for me, like it's hard for me to visualize music on a keyboard. For me, music looks like a fretboard. Okay. And so that's just my exposure. Keyboard just didn't really stick with me as much as like a guitar did, but yeah.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
So Riley, got a question for you, man. Have you always been into music?
I don't have like the...
Did you grow up like in like doing band? Or
no,
like that?
None of that. Okay. So like, I've always liked noise. Like noise has always been like, different little voices, things like that. I think has always been something that I do. When it was like 2016 to 2020, I was doing jobs that were alone in a car or in a van for 8-10 hours a day. Right. I've always liked writing things. I've always liked words, being clever with words. And so I would just like listen to instrumentals. I'd listen to rap. I'd listen to, different types of music, and just kind of like then get beat packs, write along to it, sing along to it, try to match it. And then when I met Andy, I was pretty raw into music. Like I've always loved music, but I wasn't like experienced. I don't have,
Maybe
music history knowledge.
Like that.
No, no formal training.
You was always writing because, like you said, in the car, 10 hours a day.
Always writing something. Always trying to, whether it's a melody or a clever lyric or something like that. It was just constantly just trying to think of cool things.
Dope.
And I've always liked art in general. Like any type of. I feel like in the last 10 years we've seen a lot of combination artist where it's like music, fashion, design, all these things encapsulated, but musicians do it a lot. Right. And so it kind of just,
express it in the music.
And so like as being someone without like a defined art that I'm one thing, I like how music artists have done that. Okay. And I like writing music.
Dope.
Yeah.
Give some comparisons out there. Who do you compare, like, just like your writing style, or like who do you compare yourself to big artist wise?
I mean, I like that.
Just kind of like,
I like that me and Andy specifically don't really box ourselves into a genre. For
sure.
I think for the most part, I'm influenced by whoever I'm listening to at the time, or a catalog of artists that I've listened to before. I like to make music that sounds like artists. I wouldn't compare myself to them. I like to make music that sounds like Mac Miller. I like to make music that sounds like indie artists that are like from the middle 16s, like teens of the 2000s, like with Death Cab, things like that. While it's not always so clear in the type of music that we make, I get a lot of influences from that style of music as well. Okay. And pop punk, things like that, as well as like modern stuff.
Yeah, we were just playing along to like Blink-182 the other day. That was like
great.
A lot of fun.
That's dope. So what are your top 3 artists right now? Riley?
I stay so dated with music. I mean, like unless it's somebody that I really, really want to like go out and listen to, I don't listen to the radio. I have like an algorithm of the music that I've kind of curated. I mean, I always Kendrick. I mean, obviously Kendrick he just dropped like album of the year.
So you really like that album?
I think it's heavy. Like I read a tweet where it was like, I can't listen to the Kendrick. People got mad at me for saying that I can't listen to this album every day. It's like not an everyday listener, as if that was an insult. And it's just, that's the truth. Like I can't listen to that level of heaviness every day.
Yeah, well, I also feel like,
but no, I love it. It's great. It's but it's like it's a mental, emotional workout. If you really,
I just feel like in general though, nowadays, if it's not like something you could play in the club, or if you're like with friends or anything, then people just can't listen to it every day. I feel like in general, people kind of like don't listen to more conscious.
Well, I think there's two sides of that though. I think there's club music, and then when an album like Kendrick's album comes out, it gets listened to in that one like really intimate way by people who care, rather than like a club song can go out 1,000 times and no one really, really listens to it. Like you might memorize
just in the club.
You memorize the words.
It's really just the beat, the instrumental.
Yeah, but like I said, like the Kendrick album is so heavy, it can't be played and listened all the time every day.
True.
You just fucking drive yourself crazy.
Yeah.
Well, people said the same thing about Pimp a Butterfly, and Pimp a Butterfly probably had one song that you could play in the club, and it wasn't meant to be that. It was meant to be a really
just cruising in the car, right?
And like a musical statement, Like he worked with so many legendary jazz musicians to make that record, but people don't talk about that. People are like, oh yeah, I can't really listen to that. It's not going to be in the club. And so, that album didn't do as well as I think it should have for how much ground it actually broke.
But
yeah.
No, I was gonna say but a lot of people say that's his best album he ever created.
Yeah.
So I mean that's really good. I definitely love that album too. But I was just curious as to you guys, like, did you guys listen to Kendrick Lamar early on as well? Like maybe when
Good Kid, Mad City.
Or like Section 80, like his mixtape, like that.
Definitely did.
Yeah.
I mean,
so how would you compare like his old stuff to his new stuff? I mean, do you like the direction he went, or like would you consider yourself more like what's the word I'm looking for? Would you just, I guess, do you like his newer music compared to his older music better?
I think when we see like a career artist like that, it's not do I like one better than the other. It's like he was 20 years old, right? You know what I mean?
Something like that, yeah.
You know, so like I like both of it, and it's like I've grown at the same time, and like I just said with Mac Miller, we saw like kids compared to Circles and Swimming are two completely different artists. It feels like, and the same thing for Kendrick. You know, it's what made him big at the time, made sense at the time, and what was around his life at the time, and now. All of those circumstances have probably changed for him. I mean, without a doubt.
Yeah.
And so it just kind of shows. It just kind of goes along with it.
Just growth, you know?
Yeah.
But
Totally.
you just always see it, though, like in comments on YouTube or whatever. People are like, oh, he changed, or like, you know, he should go back to making his old music.
Who doesn't change?
Not just like Kendrick Lamar, but just people, just artists in general, you know?
Yeah. You're always going to have biases.
There's always that, like, that thing where people just want their old stuff forever.
Well, one of my, like, kind of... I'm not gonna say favorite, but like kind of the most dramatic examples was the Beastie Boys to me. The Beastie Boys, they're in their earliest stages, they were a punk band, right? And then they made a rap album, and their rap album went like fucking, platinum or whatever, which was like unheard of for like, not unheard of, but it was a big deal in rap back in the day. And then after that, they were just like, well, we actually play music. And we just made a fuckload of money. So let's just buy a studio and just play everything. Right. And then they just started making the music that they wanted to make.
If I made a bunch of money off music, I would just make 100%. The music that I want to make.
Yeah.
I'm not going to have someone tell me,
100%.
Okay, go in a box over there and write me a hit.
To this beat already pre-done, you know what I'm
saying?
Yeah,
well, I mean, it can be pre-done, but I'm going to write it how I want to write it.
But like feel the beat, so like create it. You know?
Only things I like. Right. You can't give me something and then
So is that kind of how it goes in the music industry for artists who are coming up? Is there like other voices, kind of just trying to direct them into like a certain type of music, or giving their input?
I have no idea. I mean, we just make music together. Okay. We try to do it our own.
Right.
Yeah, we input on each other.
Okay.
I think you can't singularly attribute music to one person. Like music is such like a dance between so many different people, that it's like you can't say like, oh, this is this one person's entire vision. It's like, but that's completely negating the entire army of people that he hired or whatever, like Kendrick's new album has one of my favorite mix engineers on it, Manny American, and like and so I know immediately just by seeing that name, I'm like, this album is gonna sound fucking incredible, right? I didn't even need to like listen to it on my hi-fi because I'm just like, all right, that's, I just know it's gonna be great. Yeah, 100%. And so like but like Kendrick, like he definitely had the most say in as far as like probably all the words, and like what samples got used and how he wrote the songs. But like there was a lot of people that probably went into like the fine details that you don't even think of, Yeah. So
back on to you guys. Musically right now, what kind of music are you guys putting out right now? I've heard a couple of your guys' songs and I love it. You know what I'm saying? I love what you guys are putting out.
I'm really stuck on like the like lo-fi beats. Mm-hmm. Like I listen to a lot of that type of shit nowadays. I grew up listening to a lot of jazz, and so like lo-fi being kind of like the most popular iteration of jazz outside of like hip hop is like a little bit of like an obsession of mine. And so I've been like trying to like recreate that type of vibe, and the song Lowkey is definitely me exaggerating that as much as possible.
Okay.
So,
all right. So you're writing the music to the beats, right?
Yeah. So there's a couple different ways that me and Andy will make music. So either he'll send me a beat and I'll just like listen to it a billion times, or I'll see if I like it. If I like it and it resonates and I start to feel something, then I'll listen to it a billion times and try to make it work. Then we'll make it into a song. Or we'll meet, kind of jam, figure something out and see where it goes.
He comes over, and then I'm like, whoa, Riley, like, I've been obsessed with these chords today, and then I'll, like, start just, like, playing them. And then he's like, oh, man, I totally have something for that.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's just, like, how it'll go.
Yeah, and it's like it's
he'll like be, oh yeah,
genreless. Like we don't. Yeah. I don't say, hey, let's. I mean, we have come to the table and said, hey, let's make this type of song. Okay. But for the most part, it's just go off each other.
Yeah.
You know, and I like that freedom to just, all right, well, we're going to go this way. And then Andy will hear, oh, that kind of sounds like this. And I'll hear, oh, well, what if we, you know what I mean?
Right,
and
right, yeah.
it kind of makes its own sound. Yeah.
Yeah, that's dope. When I listen to music, I definitely gets like just the vibes, like just because I'm not used to like hearing just like the raw beat, you know, the guitar, the percussion, you know, going on, and just hearing it like an island feel to it, and then you coming in,
Island boys.
Yeah,
you know, definitely at times. But it's just something that I'm not used to hearing, and I don't know, I'm biased because anything Andy does, I'm gonna put my ear to it, and I just like everything you guys do. But I just want to know, like, where are you at with your lyrics? Like, what are you speaking on right now?
Depends on the day of the week. I mean, honestly, it depends on how I'm doing too. So like, if I'm in a good place, I'll probably write something like fun and like playful. Mm-hmm. A lot of the time I express my music, my lyrics in my negative feelings, my, you know, depression, if I feel anxious, if I feel suicidal, things like that. And it might be packaged in a sound that doesn't match what I'm saying sometimes. Mm-hmm. But you know, it's whatever the emotions are. Okay. I sometimes might tackle like a topic, but for the most part, I'm just trying to express feeling.
Yeah, feeling. That's what I feel. Yeah.
I think that storytelling music is really like interesting and difficult, and it's hard to take real life things and make those storytelling kind of things. You kind of have to like have some imagination here and there.
For sure.
Yeah.
I also have to try to predict his mood.
Yeah.
And try and translate it into like a musical form. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of a fun little challenge too, you know.
So do you guys think when you guys are together you make better music because you're able to go off his emotions, vice versa and stuff like that, versus you just sending like a beat pack?
I mean I mean, as you guys probably know, I did that for a while where I was trying to like make beats and just send them off
to people to get attention.
But that's so like impersonal, and I just kind of like ended up really not liking it because it's like you just are more or less like manufacturing something that you think someone may like or that you think may be good, but like without that real-time feedback, I feel like I can't like really do my job.
Okay.
I think we always complete our songs together too.
Yeah.
Like it's not even if he's sending me something to like get ideas, it's always in the end when we make the song or we start to really format the song, it's always 3, 4, 5 hours together in the studio.
Okay.
And then, you know, maybe he has some ideas later on and we go back and do some things or vice versa. Andy does a lot of the like cleanup, all the production, all of that. He does
the small little things, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The big things too. You know what I mean? Like I just write the lyrics and do the vocals. I have ideas, but you know, without Andy, they don't really come together at all.
Right. Dude, that's dope.
I still give you things to practice though.
Yeah, for sure. I'll
still be like, hey, what?
But you're giving me something to practice.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean?
Do you also have like a little studio at your crib?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I have a makeshift. Well, okay, so like I could makeshift a studio easily. I have all this stuff to do it, but no, I don't ever do it just because I'm kind of unorganized, and so like I have all that stuff in a little spot under my desk. I could pop it out. It would take an hour, and by the time I got to it, I'd be like, what the fuck do I do now?
What was I doing?
What do I do now? So yeah, I mean, I could, but I don't. I also like, it's like a motivation. Like I feel like I mostly just make music with Andy, so it's like an excuse to have like a friendship to go. You know, okay, well we're gonna go make music. They go hand in hand. It's something to be on task and like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's dope to have like a friendship like that. It's
just
have something to build it, and it's just growing stronger between you guys.
A shared passion, you know.
That's totally cool to see. And we like a lot of the same music too, you know, and we feel similarly about that music too, you know.
Dope. Yeah,
that's a big one.
Yeah,
I you can hear through the music.
I think we both just like music.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
totally,
Andy tells me all the time that he just likes music. It doesn't really matter. And for the most part, I don't think there's not a genre that I'm like, oh, there's nothing from that. Like, you know, there's something from all of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's totally true. Like I remember when I was like in high school, I like really nitpicked on like, oh, I don't like that band, you know, like they're fucking stupid or whatever, you know. But then like later on, I heard a song and I was like, oh, who is that? And I was like, oh, that was that band that I said I hated way back then.
Because you didn't like their one song.
Shit. Yeah. And then I'm like, oh man, you know. And so like I felt like I missed out on so much music because of that mindset, you know, or like that mindset of just like, oh, I don't like that over there because that's not, you know, in my schema of how I perceive music.
That's something I've had problems with too. I'm a big hip hop guy, so I listen to a lot of hip hop. But yeah, there'd be like artists who I maybe listened to like one or two songs, just never liked. But then maybe like 5-6 years later, I listened to a different song by him, and I'm like,
yeah.
You know,
wait, like, there's so much music. You know, there's so much music to listen to now. Everybody has music. Everybody makes music. Everybody makes. There's 2 albums a year for big artists. You know.
Yeah.
And so, if the first song that I listen to you isn't like really gets me, do I give you a second chance? Because like, there's a billion other artists, which is like sad in some ways, but it's also like this cool thing. We live in this era of unlimited music. You know,
right? Yeah, and any genre too. Like, I mean, genres you know don't even think like existed. You know, probably do exist. So it's like it's crazy how much just like the range of kind of music you could listen to.
Totally, yeah. And genre classification gets like really muddy too.
Yeah, especially nowadays. I feel like, dude, because it's just a mixture. I mean, there's just
everything
subgenres on subgenres. Well, and it's crazy.
I mean, we went from like literally recording things live to being able to, oh well, I don't like that so much. Let me change the note on this in the back end.
You know? So it's like auto-tune.
Now I can create this whole new sound that I didn't even know was a thing like that, and just play around.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah.
So how many songs you guys got out right now? And what platforms do you have them on?
They're for sure on Spotify.
I think they're on all of them.
Tidal,
Apple Music, YouTube Music.
You can find them on like Instagram.
You can use them on your TikTok.
Like, they're like everywhere. Yeah.
I think that's the way to make it as a. I mean, one way to make it as an artist is to like have a TikTok song. Although nowadays it seems as though that's shifted back to like just mainstream artists get their TikTok sound or like an old weird sound that's not music related is just like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So do you guys have been in the studio heavy lately at all?
Well, I mean, that's
all you do.
I mean, that's what I do.
You do for a living. Yeah. Speak on that, man. Speak on your business too.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, I've played guitar forever and made music. I've done a lot of recording for people. I've got a fairly decent setup at my house for recording. I've got like a nice little corner that has all the soundproofing and shit, so it's like the dead corner. But I actually haven't even been using that much anymore. I just use a 57 like in the middle of the room with Riley right next to me, and you know, or Mitch or whoever, and lately I've just been trying to like really hone in on my guitar chops, and I'm about to start doing the whole Instagram guitar player thing. And so I'm trying to, I don't know if this is the right way to do it. I don't know if there is a right way at all, period. But I want to like record a bunch of videos and then just have them and then just like get on a schedule and just start posting every day.
Just put that content out there,
but like every other day or whatever. And so I want to like have like this backlog of just like, so I don't have to do it, you know, every day or whatever. I don't have every to week. Do it and like feel like, I have to do that. I can just pull from this folder that I have and just slap it on there. But that's a lot of prep, and video editing, as I'm sure you know, is like annoying.
It could take some time too. Yeah, especially if you're learning just on the spot.
When you got to try to stay current too a little bit without, so you can't have a huge backlog of songs you recorded 6 months ago. And people will notice that's the same shirt. It only wears that shirt, and it's always sunny on like the same exact view.
So I mean, I've worked for studios where I've recorded for them. I've been their recording engineer / like mixing engineer. There was like a fairly big or decently big rap label up in Seattle that I worked for called One Love, One Purpose. They had a pretty big name rapper up there, Fatal Luciano.
Okay.
They were a super big pleasure to work with. They were a lot of fun.
A lot, huh?
Yeah, I learned a lot. It was really crazy because having that exposure of just like someone comes in and then, they're like, all right, I need 4 beats. Okay. So we go through a list and we pick them out or whatever, we'll load them all into the session and then record them. And within, 3 hours, they've recorded 4 songs, like just boom, 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 boom. And then you have to just do the touch ups and then you're done. You send it to them and they're out the door, and so having it be like that, like fast of a workflow definitely taught me a lot. And it taught me how to like streamline everything that I'm doing to like make sure that you get the creativity out. And like, like you can obsess about like all the equipment and everything and like how the nicest preamps or whatever in a mixer or
we gotta know
whatever
work all that, right?
But like none of that matters. The only thing that matters is the performance of the individual you're recording. That, like, at the end of the day, that's what it is. I recorded. They had a really expensive Neumann microphone, and whoever's listening, they'll know that costs thousands of dollars. That one microphone. I also would bring in a 57, and I would put them on a stereo bar, and they'd be right next to each other. And the amount of times that we picked the 57 take, like I would take them at the same time, it would be the exact same take. The amount of times that they said, I like the sound of the 57 better.
Right. Yeah.
Was, probably too many to count.
Right.
And so it doesn't, at the end of the day, the equipment that you have doesn't matter a whole lot. It's just the performance and the take and the vibe that you want to get, know? Right. And sometimes that's like that DIY, like hip hop loves that like kind of like lo-fi DIY type of sound, and that like has that raw or like realness that like people look for, and
something new too.
And that's something that you can't manufacture into a thousands of dollar microphone, but
well, that's dope, man.
Yeah.
Well, do you guys want to play some music for us?
You ready?
Yeah. Round and round, always outrunning myself. Down and out, I ain't begging for help. Gotta get when the getting's on. I guess we'll see. Maybe end up dead and wrong. Well, all eyes on me. I'll get when the getting's on, so just take what you need. Watch them when the fame is gone. Well, I'll stay low key. Here I'm thinking maybe I broke through all my scheming, dreaming, it came true. All I'm feeling is I want to thank you. Know your demons ain't gonna replace you. Here I'm thinking maybe I broke through all my scheming, dreaming, it came true. All I'm feeling is I want to thank you. Know your demons ain't gonna replace you. Always outrunning myself. And now I ain't begging for help. Gotta get when the getting's on, so I guess we'll see. Maybe end up dead and wrong. Well, all eyes on me. I'll get when the getting's on, so just take what you need. Watch them when the fame is gone. Well, I'll stay low key.
Yo, round of applause.
That was fun.
Give him a round of applause, Sip. Yo, that was dope, man. Yeah, that's fucking dope. So you guys, that's dope. That's hard, man.
So that's Lowkey.
Lowkey.
That's on.
Yes.
By NINExMELLOW.
Yeah.
By NINExMELLOW.
Yep.
Yeah.
Streaming everywhere.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope. Man, Speak on it, man. Those lyrics, man. Where were you at, man? That's gives me a heartbreak type vibe.
Was this one of our spur of the moment songs?
We were just hanging out, right? And I don't know what it was. I was just having a weird day, and I think I was just about to start a new job, and I think like it had motivated me a little bit, and it was like I was having a hard time, and so it's like I just gotta burn it. You know what I mean? You just gotta get it when it's there. That was kind of the idea of the hook, and then like. So I'm a soccer coach, and so like I remember thinking like out on the field, middle of the day, like summer, after working like terrible jobs, bro, like Amazon delivery driver, I remember you posting videos, just the worst. And so like I was like, oh my god, like this is my job. It's like everything that I ever wanted. Like it doesn't matter. So maybe I've like broken through, and everything's gonna be cool. And like it was just kind of, while it sounds like a little bit sad-ish, like there's a tone of sad to it. It's
I love sad music though.
It's like hopeful sad, like you understand the importance of certain things,
for sure,
right? And
when it gets done, right?
When it's there, go get it,
right?
And we'll see what the hell happens.
That's dope, man. I listen to a lot of like sad, depressing music like that, and not saying it was depressing, but like I said, it had the upbeat when you turn it around, you know what I'm saying?
Totally,
that was super dope. And you know,
I'm a sad boy as well. Like it has to have a little. If you're too happy in a song, I just kind of don't believe it. To a certain extent, I'm like, I've never been that happy. Right. What the hell is this motherfucker talking about?
Right. And man, it just sounds just natural. You don't sound like you like got to go out. You like use autotune or something. You just natural with your voice and stuff like that. So
thanks.
Sounds good, man. It's dope.
Yeah, definitely. Like authenticity is like one of the biggest things that you should have in your music, and like that song, I feel like authentically represents our music, you know. And it was one of those things that we just like kind of like came together in like an hour or two. Like we just kind of like sat down and like. I think I probably, you know, just played the like
made a drum loop and then started playing the bass line,
You know, I just had that, and then he was just like, "Gotta get when the getting's on."
Well, and I remember when we recorded it, it was on one of those 57s, and we were just like getting it, like just having fun with it. And like you had said earlier about Andy using real like instruments.
Yeah, for sure.
That was one of the things that like really gravitated to me with Andy, is because like, oh, that's so cool. And so I like, as much as possible. I mean, we have to use autotune sometimes to correct some things, but as much as possible, I like a raw feeling to the music that we make, including my vocals, because I don't think I'm like a crazy like gonna sing opera here. You know what I mean? But I like to, you know, stay in my wheelhouse and have some fun.
Right.
That's dope. And I think that's important.
Yeah. I don't think that song got auto-tuned.
No, that song I don't think it did.
I think with my use, what I'll do is like pitch correction, where I'll be like, you know, Riley, like, what if you hit this note? And like, I'll pull up the software and I'll like drag it to a specific note, because like I don't expect him to know all the music theory and ins and out of music. But I'm like, but if I change it, to this thing, then you can hear it, and then like maybe you'll think it's cool
for sure.
And then, you know, you can nail that in your next take or whatever, you know. And so things like that I'll do. But Lowkey, I think just naturally just came out like that. Like that was just how it rolled out of the gate. And this was also the one too with the sample. So if you go and listen to the song, it has the sample, and that's I was a recording at Wright Park. My daughter was at the splash park, and you could just hear like, you can hear her screaming like like fun. And so it's like it was that inside of like, you know, all of those things that I'd said before about like, oh, this is like a beautiful life, you know, having my daughter just playing at a park. It's just fun, and like used it as like background white noise. We like to do that a lot. There's a few of our songs that have like sample-y backgrounds that are just kind of there for some ambiance. Like really like under.
You get in detail with like the music, like say your storytelling, you know what I'm saying?
There's layers to it. There's layers that like only I know too, or only me and Andy know.
I didn't know that.
You know what I mean? Like, cool. And that means something to me that I can't always define. You know what I mean? Like maybe this lyric means this thing, but I can't express it in a specific way. But like it means that to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's dope.
And making music and art is like definitely like, that's something that just makes it amazing, is that you can like really put things in there, and you can really just like make the statement that's like true to you. You know what I mean? And like that's what you need a lot of the time, you know. You need that like catharsis, like you need to just like get that out there, and you need to like express that emotion or whatever, you know. And whether it's a happy or a sad one, you know, like, or whatever.
I think something that works really well with us is like, so Andy is very like, he has a music history background, he knows all his stuff.
Knows his shit.
Sometimes to a
Thanks,
fault.
guys. Thanks,
like
guys.
sometimes he knows way too much, and he's like, okay, so if we did it, and I'm just like, what are you talking about? And so I think sometimes it's nice that we have like a different level. So I can give him a novice idea. Like no one's gonna fucking care about that.
Yeah. I'm not a casual listener.
No,
like,
and I'm like, dude, no one's gonna notice that thing, and you've spent an hour and a half on it, and like. I still don't. You've explained it. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a curse. Yeah.
But it's great because then I get all of these things. I learn so much every time we hang out. Like, I feel like I learn about music. I feel like I'm taking a music class every time we make music, which is cool for me. And for me, music is just like a very like fun, expressive, passionate hobby. Mm-hmm. Like I don't really care what happens with regards to like getting signed by anywhere, getting plays, It's just fun.
It's just passion. It's what you do.
Yeah, I mean, I have other things in my life that are so like I said, I'm a soccer coach, so I feel like that's my other big passion, right? And that is my job, and it's work, and that's what it is. And now I get this other thing that's fun, expressive. If I mess up, it doesn't affect my life negatively. There's room for that.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, we're just regular people. We all got regular jobs besides Andy. He's, obviously, what he's doing now is what he does for a living. So that's also cool to see that entrepreneurship and you believing in yourself, quitting the job you were doing at the time and taking this very serious. So that's really cool to see that, man.
Cheers, thank you.
Yeah, and like I said, like Riley, you're a father too outside of this too, and I am also a dad, and just having that all around to balance what you're doing here and to still hear the music you guys are putting out, it's just dope. It makes me feel like you guys are up there, and it's just nice to hear that again.
And we have a lot of songs like
we
that aren't released, and we're just like we're just like trying to get the like final steps on them and to release them and things like that.
Sometimes I think about having a kid and like the music that we make, and I have to think like, do I want my kid to hear this music, right? And I think we sometimes go too far into just because we're adults and we talk about adult things sometimes, and then I have to like wait, do we want that? You know what I mean? And then is it good enough? Does it warrant going out there, or is making it enough sometimes too? Was the process of making it enough of the expression, or does it need to be heard?
Okay. Yeah, like I said, you could have went a whole another route and started just being what everybody else does nowadays and just go crazy about politics. Maybe if you are not in those politics too, some people do that, so
I think you've got one that's like fairly political, but like it's more just kind of like
so we made a music video for a song that we made.
What's the name of that song? Is it out?
It is out. It's
out,
maybe
but not the music video.
The music video is not out. I recorded the video inside of an Amazon van that I was driving, like on a little like off-brand GoPro.
Yeah.
And I think that while the song itself doesn't really get political, it was like kind of like a fuck you to Amazon. Because I think a lot of their working, it's kind of predatory. They union bust, all of that stuff, and I do care about those things. It's just when you get political, you have to jump 2 feet into it. Yeah. Right. Like now I've decided that I'm this way, and all of these other things go with it. When it's like, I don't know, like I'm not a poli sci major. I'm not like any ambition to run anything like that. So why? I don't know. Is my opinion better than anybody else's? I don't know.
For sure. Are you guys trying to get like on the staged or get in the venues and stuff like that? Are you guys trying to do that?
That's actually a big project of mine. I've been looking for musicians because we need to
replace the drummer.
This is our drummer. This is our drummer and our bass player right here.
That's cool.
And so I being the guy who has played all the instruments, I want those instruments represented. And so I'm in the process of finding people to play with right now. And so far I've got a bass player and a keyboard player, and hopefully after Monday I'll have a drummer. And if I have that core with me playing guitar, that quartet, that would be everything represented to play these songs. And then we'd start booking gigs and everything. And I'm really hoping, because between him and Mitch, we've got like 20 plus songs that we could really be like out playing.
I've got like 12 or 13 with you.
Just you.
Yeah. And I know that Mitch probably has more than me.
No? I think he has about 10.
I've been in the lab a lot.
The times that I have came up to Andy's place, and it's dope to actually like hear it before it comes out, on title and stuff like that. So I was like, I heard that. And,
or like whatever I'm working on, like a crazy person.
The biggest thing that we've run into for not releasing is we have a couple features that like we made these songs in 2020, and then like, shit happens, and we had to learn how to do all of the like releasing side of it, the back end stuff.
Right.
And that's why we really haven't been making new music for like the
we have like a banging indie country song.
Oh, we do.
I heard that.
And the feature sounds like Dolly Parton. Like, she's wonderful. And she's busy, and we gotta like
and we have to like
sort
nail
it all
that
out.
down.
But like it's funny how when we make music together, we can streamline the process, right? Andy can do all of the instruments that we need. I can do all of the vocals that we need, writing that we need. But when we use other people, the process stalls. Even though I think some of our best music is with with other artists. Like I definitely believe that
you get more creative.
Well, yeah, and I love writing. I love writing lyrics for other people too, because there are Mitch is a super talented vocalist that hits things that I could never hit. Right. And so I've written a couple of he's come in and like done the hooks for a couple of my songs with NINExMELLOW. And I think we both kind of wrote it together, but having a process in writing for someone else is cool. I love that. It's like an interesting little next step. And
that's another thing that's coming up, especially like artists today, like Kendrick, who has a bunch of what they call them ghostwriters.
And
I think that feels derogatory. You know what I mean? I feel like writers get a bad rap for that.
Yeah. Kendrick, he has probably just like a team of people in the studio while he's writing and he's like recording and stuff, and they're like, oh, what if you did it like this, or you replace that word or whatever. Boom, he gets to be a writer. That's he's part of the writing process now. And so it's like, just because you had an idea, you should be credited for it.
Definitely. I don't feel that.
Not all writers are talented vocalists.
Yeah,
totally. Someone could have a beautiful mind, expressive words, super like on point. Like I can write melodies. I just can't perform it.
I just can't sing.
Exactly. And I feel like we're not utilizing the best qualities of people then. If you're going to say, he has a ghostwriter. It's like, is it cool? Yeah, is it clever? Did you like it? Did he then perform it in a cool way that sounded cool?
Right. Like you said, like not everybody wants to be on the main stage too. Some people are just just in their ways and shit.
I have kind of a little tangent about Dogma, the country song that we made. Riley in the studio as we were making it, he was like, man, I really want this to sound like, I want the bass drum to sound like we're stomping feet or whatever. And I was like, well, fuck it, let's go record it. So we went into like the like little front mudroom of the of my apartment, and there's like a little bench that you would sit down and take your shoes off, and I had a big ass boot, and I stuck a 57 underneath it, and Riley just smacked the fucking bench, right? And then I resampled it and I chopped it up and I did that, and that was our kick drum for that.
So I'm on percussion for that song, technically. Like Kendrick Lamar's, yes, I'll put a T there or something. That's how I did that.
Well, if you need me to do anything, man, fart sounds, whatever, man.
Ad-libs.
Ad-libs, yeah.
Yeah, I always wanted to make some music too, but I just feel like I'm not a writer, And that's where
I've tried to make songs with you, and I can tell you what your problem is that
I want to be like everybody else.
Well, it's that you're not confident in your delivery. It's that you're like, oh man, like is what I'm doing okay, And then that's like the first hurdle that you have to get over to like.
Don't give a fuck.
That's why I'm doing this shit, man, to get that. I mean,
totally, yeah.
Don't give a fuck attitude anymore.
It doesn't matter if it's okay.
Right.
No, yeah.
And you know that, man. It just comes off. It looks like I'm always like cautious of what people think of me. You know.
Well, Riley had to cross that hurdle too.
Totally,
you know? For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And
I still do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. I think we all do to some degree. You know.
I haven't performed on stage more than once. And so it's like, while I do want to do that, I'm still nervous about it. It's still a step of like, oh, well, that's going to be fucking interesting to do.
Right.
And so it's just, steps.
Yeah, steps to
you know?
it, yeah. But it looks like you guys want to get to that point and be on stage.
Totally. It sounds like fun.
And I think soon we'll be hitting the stage too.
Well, I just can't wait to be a fanboy.
Yeah,
I like it.
Learn the lyrics, sing along.
No, I already do.
Hell yeah.
I almost wanted to hop on when you were singing your song.
You should have.
I thought about it.
Man.
You see the video? I was leaning because I was like thinking about doing it.
That's on me.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to do.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you guys are dope, man. That's dope to get you guys on this platform and hopefully with the little bit of followers that see it, but anybody's eyes on you guys is just dope to see. So appreciate you guys fucking with us. And
of course, man. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, if you like our music, go ahead and put it on repeat and just loop it for a few hours.
Like a bot.
We really need some.
So we need to compete with the bots.
We need to compete with the bots.
Right, and just like you said, like just listen to the first time and then go through it again and dissect the little things, the little layers. Because it's cool. Like I said, Riley mentioned that he used samples like with his daughter and stuff like that, and using the boot and stuff like that. So just paid attention to those things because these guys are doing it the right way. So
weird sounds.
I had like a phase where like I was really into like finding the like little weird loops and samples. But like now I basically try to like organically do everything recorded that I did. And Lowkey is that way. I recorded myself playing drums. I recorded myself playing bass and guitar and the keyboard part, and then we sampled that thing, and so like everything is like an actual recording instead of like a digital reproduction or like someone else's loop or whatever. And so that takes a lot of time and energy and effort, but like it totally pays off being able to hear it and be like, wow. Every single part of that, like I did that,
right?
And that's a really rewarding feeling to have.
And then like I said, and other people hearing it, like us hearing it and seeing our reactions to it, us nodding our heads, and eventually see other people nodding their head and be like, yeah, you guys are doing it. Just get that reassurance that you guys are putting that music you guys want to put out, and other people are fucking with it. So
we hope.
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah. Well, thanks, man, for being on the podcast.
Of course.
Again, this is NINExMELLOW.
Spelled out.
NINE,
not a number
X,
9.
Right.
Mellow, all one word.
Dope.
It's kind of complicated.
Yeah.
It's not that complicated.
Yeah. Was there anything you guys want to say at all before we
No, just the plug. I just wanted to plug it at the
end.
Yeah. No,
NINExMELLOW.
Thanks for having us, Tyrell. It's always a pleasure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You guys are dope.
Do you guys have any social media accounts people can go and look you up at?
Yeah.
Under the same name.
Same name. Okay.
Yeah.
Just,
I think
is it on?
We have an Instagram.
And
we're supposed to have a TikTok.
Yeah.
We will though.
Yeah. I'm Tappy DNA, TAPY DNA. That's just me. And then
I don't. My Instagram is just my Instagram.
Yeah, personal.
Well, I'm gonna start posting the guitar videos, so mine's gonna be special.
Yeah. Make it public.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it public. I still have to do that. So.
Yeah.
But.
All right.
Cool.
Dope.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cheers. Cha-ching.